podcast. So much universe, so little time.
Welcome to the Mantic Universe podcast. I'm Clem, and today I have my good friend Nico with me.
Hey, what's up?
He's a fellow Frenchman from Ardèche, France. And I think, Nico, we've known each other for quite some time now. We met in 2021, I believe, at the German GT in, well, not exactly in Cologne, but near Cologne, with Chris.
Yeah.
And I think we had been chatting before that on the French Discord, French Kings of War Discord. You're the server of this Discord server, the admin of the server. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. We are like 2 or 3 people to manage the Discord. But yeah, I was in the 5-6 first people on this server.
Yes, you're quite a figure in the French Kings of War community and Mantic games in French community, and that's what we're going to talk about today. We will also put a link to this French Discord in the show notes because there is a channel in English for all international people who don't speak French. Shame on you guys, la honte. But you're very welcome to join the French Discord and connect with the French community. And that's really the goal of this episode, to give an introduction to our listeners who potentially don't know too much about our community, but might be curious or might be interested in also joining us for big Kings of War events in France. I just wanted to mention also you have your own podcast,
Yep.
Radio Ra. It's kind of rat radio, I guess.
Exactly.
And you talk about Kings of War and the events you go to because you travel quite a bit. And if people speak French or are curious to hear about, people talk about Kings of War in French, then they should definitely check out Radio Ra. Which platform can you find your podcast on?
I think maybe only on Spotify, the podcast. Yeah.
Spotify. Nice.
Yeah, easy maybe for some people. But
Nice.
yeah, we created this like 2 years ago, maybe now. That's not really like a habit to do some episode, but when we have the time, we try to.
It's a good old podcast where you just record an episode whenever you have something interesting to discuss
Exactly,
with
yeah.
good friends. And that's great. So very quickly, we said we wanted to talk a bit about big events in French that international players are very welcome to join. And I just wanted to mention 3 of them, up front. One is called King in the North. So it's the French North. So it's actually near Lille or in Lille even.
That's near Lille, but that's really close to Lille because you can go it with the underground, with the subway. So that's really easy.
So if you look at it from Berlin, Germany, it is in Lille, right?
Yeah.
And so, but that was in February, so it's early in the year, so people should look for it next year, probably.
Yeah.
The second one we wanted to mention right away, just to put on your agenda, if you're curious about it, is Olympias Rheni, and it's in Strasburg, so east of France. And so this one is coming up on the 26th and 27th of July. It's also organized by a good friend of ours. And the third one that I wanted to mention, but we'll talk more about it in this episode, is the TAC near Lyon in August 23rd and 24th. And that's the event that you organize. So we will hear more about it later in this episode. But I think it's pretty impressive for me living in Germany and seeing, what the community is like, what events are like in Germany and near me. When I see, on the French Discord server, there are so many events. Like, you always hear, oh, in the UK, you can play Kings of War all the time everywhere. In the US, and many regions, the same. But actually in France as well, like there are tons of events and big ones as well where people are very much welcome to travel to. So yeah, always kind of jealous, I would say. I wish more German cities, had a active Kings of War community and organized, events every month or every other month. I could travel to an event not too far away. That would be cool.
Yeah, I was surprised too in my first time in Cologne in Germany for the tournament. It was a great tournament, but for me, just before that, I was thinking that in Italy, Germany, even in Spain, that was exactly the same than in France about the events, and I understood at this time that in Germany there were less tournaments and only like 3-4 communities, like real communities. And I was a bit surprised about it.
Yes, definitely. I think we've talked about it in previous episodes, but in Germany, I think there are a bunch of players, but they tend to play more, within their close friends or even family members and so on. And so the, let's say, open community that, you can read about and you see events put on a calendar, it's a lot less developed than in France and in Spain. Also, I think there's a pretty big community and a lot of events as well. Anyway, so, well, first of all, before we dive in, Nico, that's the first time you're on MAP. So
yeah, thank you.
why? I'm very happy to finally have made it and found time to record this episode. And delight our listeners with our lovely French accents. And we will try to not make too many mistakes, but it's life. Anyway, enough with the jokes.
I will try to.
Yes. Before we dive in, why don't you give our listeners a quick intro about where you come from and how you got into tabletop gaming, and then Mantic and what you like to play, all the things, the usual.
Yeah, let's go. For me, I began wargame like when I was 14, no, maybe 13, just before, just because my two elder brothers were playing Warhammer, like many people. So I began, with my little club of friends.
No choice.
At the same, at the same age, because my brothers had many miniatures, friends too. So that was a really nice time. And after that, I think that we played like 4 years. And I don't know why, but it seems that it is a bit the same for many people. Like you stop the game a bit at 16, 17. You have other preoccupation, I think. I don't know.
It's called booze and women and drugs, Nico. That's what it's
yeah,
called.
of course.
Or studies. Sorry. Studies, obviously.
No, not at all. Yeah. First option. But I stopped, and after that, I began my studies in college, in Lyon. And something was missing for me because I had all these minis, and I remembered all of these good memories. So I tried to find a new game in France at this time, but that's maybe almost the same today. Maybe there is the old world too, which was not present at this time. But there was only Ninth Age or Kings of War. Ninth Age is really, really big in France. So everyone was a bit like, go on this game. And finally, I tried Kings of War in a big convention in Lyon. And I was like, okay, this is definitely for me. Like, just 2 hours to play. I can keep all my miniatures. And I discovered like a new part for me about war games, because I played before more in a, role play part. Like every game was really long, and I was really dreaming about big heroes, stories in every game. And after that, I discovered something which was more closer from, video games or nice board games with something balanced, many factions, something really addictive too. That was not the
an
game.
actual challenge from the gameplay perspective,
Yeah, of
challenge, but
course.
in a good sense. Like there's a strategic aspect to it, which, to be honest, when I remember my own experiences with Warhammer when I was a teenager, was also, we didn't have full armies anyway. We missed a bunch of the rules, and it just evolved into, let's
Yeah,
just figure out, we think this should work this way, make it our own, and, the game lasts over days, and it's just a big mess, which is a completely different experience when you end up with Kings of War, with a clean rule set, and in 2 hours you can play an actual game. I see we have a similar experience. And so what year did you get back into tabletop, and like you started with Kings of War? Was it with second edition or
yeah, it was
first edition?
no, second edition. It was in 2018 or 2019. I think it was in 2018, just before the Clash of King 2019. So I made like 1 or 2 years in second edition. I began with Ratkin. That was also
Nice.
my army in Warhammer before. And I felt in love with these little rats.
So there is some reason behind Radio Ra. It doesn't come out of nowhere, huh?
Our association has something, a name close to this idea also. Always about rats. And I had the luck to find some really nice people in Lyon who played at this time. So there was like a game every week in a shop that allow to play free in
What's
this
the name
area.
of the shop? Which one is it?
Unfortunately, now the shop is closed, but it was Jumanjeu in Lyon. There is also
Okay.
Trollune that is famous.
Right, Trollune is the one that I know more. I think it's not so far to where I used to live, because I used to live in Lyon. But anyway.
Was what nice with this shop was that it was a little shop, but the big game in this shop was Kings of War. So that was so amazing to go in a shop with a guy that was like, okay, my game is Kings of War. I want you to play this game.
Like a proper support. Like what would like a Games Workshop store be if it was for Mantic and Kings of War? Right?
Something
like
close
really
to it.
focus on this
and
taken seriously and put forward, and lovely.
It was good to don't have a guy at work that explained me all the time why Game Workshop was nice,
Yes, like, oh, that's what I sell, so this is what you should buy. And yes, sadly, we all know the experience.
Yeah. So after I played, I made my first tournament and tournament and
the rest is history, as they say, right? And so, have you always been playing rats, or are you also playing other
No.
Because I've seen you with rats, I think, every single time.
But no. At first I was on Sylvan in Warhammer. I never played them in Kings of War. Maybe on little day tournament, like casual games only.
Just to try it out.
Recover the atmosphere of Sylvankin. I was playing it because my brothers were playing Elves and Twilightkin in Warhammer, so that was funny to be the third elf.
Right, just to have all the elves, like all of the flavors of the elves.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. And finally, just at the end of Warhammer, that's funny, I bought like the Blood Isle. This is a pack, I think.
Yeah, the starter.
Yeah, the starter, because I wanted the elves.
Oh, campaign. Yeah.
The campaign. I was teenager, I wanted the campaign, and some friend tell me, okay, take the elves, and I will take the rats to begin an army. And that's life. Unfortunately, I lost this friend because he take his own path, I think. So
that can happen.
I was like, I don't care. I have some rats. I don't want them. So I began to paint like 2 of these little mouses. And I began this, and I was like, okay, that's easy to paint. There is no every gold medals, stuff.
Yeah, all the trim and all the
Yeah.
leather pouches and
Ah,
stuff,
God.
just brown everywhere, and it's
Brown,
yeah.
brown, and I like to paint. Um, I really like to paint, but yeah, I discovered an amazing way to paint because I think elves that was not really adapted to my manner of thinking. That I was really more enjoying with rats, and after I played it in Warhammer, I was like, okay, it's really funny. And finally, when I began in Kings of War, there was like an evidence, and I never let them go.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, it's good when you find something that you both like the style of miniatures, like painting the minis, and the gameplay that goes with it, then it's good. Yeah.
And
No
I
need
just
to...
began last year a new army. So in Kings of War without Game Workshop. Or I have many Mantic models now in my rats, but I wanted to create a full army Kings of War, like not
Nice.
because of my previous game. So I began Brother Mark. I was in Clash of Kings with my Brother Mark last year. Yeah,
Okay.
I really enjoy this army. So I really want to have these two projects. No,
Like flying cavalry and like 12 drops or
no,
something.
this is the other one. Brother Mark is the like peasants. What?
Right. No, it's the Order. Wait, what is it? Order of the Green Lady and...
There is Green Lady with the knights and flying horses, all of this stuff.
Yes.
And the Brother Mark is more about Basileans, of course, but peasants. And I really wanted this part like Crusaders, Fanatics,
Okay.
all of this.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. And do you play other Mantic games these days, or in general, or your heart is fully committed to Kings of War?
Yeah, not that much. I'm like really loyal. So when I find my war game, and that's hard to me to go in other games. Champions is of course like Kings of War, but I think I will try and play it because it's Kings of War. But I tried sometimes Dead Zone, for example, and
Nice. Yeah.
this is more something a disappointment for me. But I really wanted to play Armada, but yeah, in France, nobody or almost nobody play Armada.
There's not much of a community for it.
No,
Yes, then
that's hard.
It's a lot of effort to get it started.
This is a bit hard.
Yeah, and I just wanted to mention, I hope that's okay, because you didn't talk about it, but you actually studied game design and like games, that's your actual field of studies of expertise. Like you're working sort of in the area. You don't do tabletop stuff, but you're a professional gamer, game designer, so to speak. Is that right?
Yeah, it is right. I was close to find a job in tabletop like recently, but finally no. But yeah, for now I'm working on an escape game. I made my studies about board games. I work in many shops. In the shop in Lyon, Jumanjeu, which was working with Kings of War, and I had my own shop on 4 summers, only summers, in Ardèche, so in the countryside in France. Yeah, that was like season 1.
Nice. That's really cool.
That was really like funny, and this is why we created our association in this area, because every summer there were people in the village that came to play, to discover, to exchange. And yeah, finally, this is why we created the tournament.
Nice.
This is in big part about this little shop.
So yeah, maybe what's the name stand for, like TAC, T-A-K? Where does that come from?
In French, Tournoi Ardéchois Co, which means
that makes sense.
Ardèche Tournament Kings of War. Yeah, that's
Ardèche
easy.
being the region. It's a beautiful region. It's just south of where I grew up, and it's like beautiful, southern France, kind of like the type of landscape. Very rural, also. Like for the saying is, you guys don't measure distances in kilometers, but in hours, because it's tiny, tiny roads in the mountains, and it's beautiful landscapes. It's just you shouldn't have to be someplace at a given time, or because it's very takes forever to drive throughout it, but very, very nice area.
This is a bit our challenge to make move people in this countryside.
Yeah.
That's not really easy to come, but that's beautiful, and we try to make everything easy and to give a big experience. So
yeah, I mean, it's reasonably affordable, and it's perfect to take the family or take your partner for a long weekend and enjoy really the beautiful, beautiful countryside and play some Kings of War. Sounds like a pretty good thing to do. So yeah, you said you started also like a non-profit around it, like in your small town. How long ago have you been doing TAC? It's like 7th edition this summer.
it will be the 6th edition this year.
So it's one per year minus COVID years.
No, we began in the COVID year. Yeah, the first
nice.
edition, because that was the same in all European countries. But the first, how do you say, confinement? No, containment.
Containment, I guess, or like
Everyone will understand.
Yes.
Yeah, the first containment was in the first part of the year, and we had a second one at the end. Like I think it was the same in Spain, UK, and the TAC was in summer, like in August.
So right between the two lockdowns.
Yeah, that was easy. Like that was not that hard in France, in Europe, in July, August. So we managed to make our first edition. That was maybe not the only, but almost the only tournament in France this year.
Nice. Yeah, it's right at the right time when things are allowed to open. Nice. Yeah. So, which one came first? Was it the small shop to serve people coming to play, or did you come up with the idea, because you do it basically in your hometown or in the area where your family is located? Is that right?
Yeah, this is my hometown. No, the first idea was the shop, because I had the opportunity to have like a local for free. So
Nice.
I had this opportunity, and I was like, okay, in my region, every summer, all the teenagers go in the countryside to work in fruits company.
Right, like fruit picking and so on. Yeah.
I made it for 2 years. I was like, it's okay. I don't want anymore. So I had this local. I was like, okay, the aim is not exactly to make money, but if I make it, that's nice. If I don't care. I just want to get experience because I want to work in it.
Right.
And that was also a way to see my friends, to make parties after, I have to say, of course. So,
yeah, I mean, it's a good opportunity. Like, it's a social event, as always, right? Like, you get people to travel. And
that was almost holidays, but with, of course, board games that are sold, animation,
right.
evening with, some people that
Activities
come
and
to
all
discover
things.
activities, animation, of course.
Nice.
And I made it a first year, and I put like in a corner a table with Kings of War, and I tried to motivate some people. And yeah, at the end of the summer, we were like 4-5 players. So
Nice.
in the second year, I tried to create this tournament and to find other people around this. And yeah, finally we created a little community, not that big, but really motivated.
Dedicated. Yeah, motivated.
Yeah, dedicated.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And you also mentioned that you've been traveling to a bunch of events. I guess that's kind of what you do when you organize your own event, or like when you go to many events, you want to organize your own,
Yeah.
or something like this, right?
Yeah, I'm a co-traveler.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's awesome. Like, it's the best way to, enjoy the game, and it's a very good one, I should say. Maybe not the only way, but see different communities and see how different people play the game, and teach them who's the boss. Because I think you tend to win these things, right? Not always, but I think you usually rank pretty well in Kings of War.
Yeah.
It's not to brag, of course, but when I go to a tournament, is to see people, and I try to lose not too many games and win some, or win as much as I lose, and so on. But you actually go there for the podium or something, right? Most of the time.
Yeah, to win, I have to say. I try to win. Well, yeah, it depends, but I find the game really interesting, challenging, addictive. So I try to win most of the time, and if I don't, that's not a problem. But
yeah, no, of course, that's not what I wanted to say. Like, I didn't mean it like, oh, you play to win or anything. That's not what I'm saying. It's more, you're actually very much a big fan of the game and trying to really understand how it works and, get things to work exactly how you want them to. And you have opinions about how to set up a table and
okay, I
so on
see.
and so forth, right? Like, you're very much into the game. Like, if I have a rule question or a strategic question about Kings of War, I know I can ask you, and you will have.
Yeah, I try. I really want to be not to be part of it, but to be part of the community, of course, but to participate. Yeah, I think that the word, like, I really love every aspect of Kings of War, painting, playing, and most of all community, and to move. So if I can waste my time, no, I'm joking, but use my time on the game, I will find it. So about the rules,
Nice.
about listen podcast, everything. Like,
Go
yeah,
see different people and play with
yeah,
good players from different
definitely,
communities.
definitely.
I think I saw you in the UK. Was it in Nottingham? The first year the Clash was in Nottingham, I think you came.
I'm at 2 years in UK. I think now it will be like almost every year because my brother live in
Nice.
London for like 10 years, maybe more. So that's quite easy for me to go, and that's nice because I can see him, and he play Kings of War, so that's a good reason.
Does he still play Dirty Elves, or what's the?
Yeah, yeah, he play Twilight Kin.
Nice. Well, he's the good type of elves. When I say Dirty Elves, I mean the other one, like the goodies.
He plays Twilight Kin. We were together in a Clash last year, so that was nice. Really good experience.
Nice. And so, did you already have some, traveling participants to TAC, or is it mostly people from the region, or like, how is it? Like, how big is it, first of all?
Yeah, more every year, like more than 20 people, and 1 year we made 30, but that was like wow, something big. But
Nice.
something like 22, 24. I think that we will be in this kind of tournament this year. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good. Yeah. And so, do you have more local people? Do you also have some travelers? Or I guess you guys are very much open to, if someone is curious and wants to come see the French countryside, they can reach out and, get advice on how to make it work and so on, right?
Yeah. A bit of locals, but I don't know how it is in Germany or in UK, but yeah, that's normal here to move, like make 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, for a 2-day event, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have like people from South France, of course, and also middle. That's not so. We don't see usually people from north, but
Right.
almost every part of the country.
Yeah, I mean, if you try to come from Lille, it is
That's
a bit
hard.
of a. I mean, by train, it's maybe 3 hours from Lille to Lyon, and then
To
from Lyon
Valence.
to TAC. Oh, to Valence, yeah, it's even better. Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's not so
it's not
long
so bad, but
from Lille,
yeah,
but that's so expensive.
right. Yes.
This is more the problem because in train that's easy to
That's
move
easy,
and
but
that's
then it's
fast.
expensive.
I
Yes.
think that's
Otherwise,
only
you
4
need to.
hours
Yeah.
from Lille, so that's a bit
Right.
surprising. But if you have to take the train, that's a budget. Yeah.
You have to to plan for it long in advance, or otherwise it means you need to take a car, and then by car from Lille to Ardèche is a bit more
it's
of a
no, that's
road
too
trip.
much. Too much.
I mean, it can work if you want to stay a couple more days and enjoy the countryside.
Yeah, some
But
of the people do this, and that's really interesting. This year, still a player will come with his wife and his sons. So
nice.
that's because, as you said, you can do many things in the region. Like there is big rivers that are famous in France, good landscapes.
Yeah, you can do
that's really...
kayak, amazing landscapes if you like rock climbing or hiking, all sorts of water sports. There's tons of options. And if you like good food, there's always also very nice stuff all around. So highly recommend just for the tourism of it. And if you really have to, you can go and play Kings of War. But no, I'm joking. Nice. So, and again, it's 26th and 27th of August. Is that
23
right? No.
And 24.
23rd, 24th. Yeah, because 26th and 27th of July is the one in Strasburg.
Yeah.
Right. And by the way, we will try to get Bruno, right? That's his name, the guy from Strasbourg.
Yeah.
To come for an episode and also talk about other areas and other communities and things in France. Cool.
Ihr hört den Mantic Universe Podcast. So viel Universum, so wenig Zeit.
Should we move on to, more generally speaking, Mantic in France, or do you want to say something else about?
No, I think that we say many things on the tournament and the region, so that's nice.
Nice. Yeah, so you've been, so as we said already, you're pretty much super involved with Kings of War, and you've been playing tabletop and so on, and so you have a good view of what the situation, I would say, is in France. Can you tell us more about, how is Mantic doing in France, and are people playing Mantic games, this type of stuff? Are there hotspots or stuff like this? What's your opinion?
I will begin maybe with Kings of War in France, and after I will talk about the Mantic situation. In France, that's a bit particular. So we have, I think, a good community. Something about that's hard to estimate because, as you say about Germany, you have always people that play only with like close friends or in the garage, and that's nice, of course. But that's hard to say how many people there are. But I can see that every year we see on tournaments around 80 people that move. So you can see
you mean people who go to different events and like an actual super active community of people traveling for events.
This is the most active community, and of course you will have like 100, 200, I don't know, people that play like just with friends, but that's hard to estimate. And you have people that play like in almost every part of the country without Paris. So that's really weird.
So Paris is not represented. If you live in Paris, I'm sorry.
That's hard.
I'm sorry about it.
And
then you cannot play Kings of War. Is that what
you have people that play in Paris, but they are really in the around Paris, not in. And you.
As normal people do in Paris, like who is in Paris itself? I mean, tourists and millionaires, right? So.
Yeah, but you have like big shops, like wargame shops in the city itself, but no shop play Kings of War. They are more in other games. So that's funny because our capital is really big in our country. For example, I know that in UK. There are many people in London that play. That's not the case in France. And this is more in the other cities. So in Toulouse, you have a big community. In Lille also. Maybe they are the two biggest communities, I think.
Nice.
So this is a kind of idea of how it is. And about Mantic, it is a bit particular because we had like many stories, I will say, about...
Let's call it stories, yes.
good stories about distribution. Sometimes that was not at all the fault or the
It's not directly Mantic,
yeah, exactly.
but it impacts the business.
Yeah, sometimes that was there. So that's really hard to follow. I will say that's hard to follow. And the thing is that now you have many shops because of these stories that hesitate to go on Kings of War because they heard about how
They
it
have
was.
been burnt in the past, and
Yeah.
they don't want to get burned again. I guess when you have a complicated past,
Yeah, we have a strong community, but that's hard to find a way to make begin like 10, 20, 100 players, but that's really stable. This is what is nice.
right? So I wanted to ask you about this. Like, what's your sentiment about the dynamic? I would say, like, have you seen more people join, or like, get started with Kings of War, or do you see more of a decline in the number of players, or you just said it's more kind of stable, or like it's not dying, but it's also not growing very fast or anything like this?
I'm really optimistic, I have to say. In France.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah, I'm optimistic because I saw it in the a bit the center of the community because I organize. I'm on the Discords in the beginning. I follow all the stuff. So there were like there was a big pivot in the game without joking with the rules.
It's a good
A
joke.
a big pivot in the game, like in COVID, we lost many players, but now I have to say I think that was nice because we lost like many Warhammer players in the COVID. People that were talking most of the time about Warhammer with only minis of Warhammer, just missing their old game. The situation is not like in UK. In UK, I saw it and that was really interesting. People like buy many Mantic minis, are really supporting Mantic, and I can understand why, because they know the people that make the game. There is, I think, something like really warmy. Like they know each other, they know sometimes the people that create the game. In France, we just compared games and we choose the one that
Lets you keep using your toys.
yeah, we don't have like this convention atmosphere we have in French wargame, of course. But I don't know if you see what I mean. That's hard to explain it, but that's normal. There is a barrier between us and UK, and that's not a problem. We try to erase this, but the language, that's hard to communicate. That was also difficult to have news from Mantic. So we have
Yes.
this, and so at the first time of the first version of Kings of War and the second, there were many people that were there only like
As a placeholder, like they were waiting for the old worlds to come back.
yeah, exactly, ninth age. I have to say more. So in the COVID, there was a big change, like a changement of this. We lost players, but we keep all the stable players, all the players in the Kings of War atmosphere, like fair play.
Right.
Like
People who are really loving the game actually stayed, and the ones that were here with their Games Workshop miniatures just waiting for something else to happen,
yeah,
at some point they left, and it's too bad, but we don't miss them that much.
we were a bit late, for example, about UK, because in 2020 we were still in this after Game Workshop phase, and in UK there was already for the Kings of War player past. And after COVID,
Yes.
everything changed because we lost players, but the Kings of War players were only like in the good atmosphere. So we began to make like more, to be more like a community. We create the Discord. We tried to create it like more events, Kings of War events, that was easier to manage, like the tournament with the referee, some kind, everything like this is more easy now. And the French Masters that came after.
Networking with players from other regions and so on. But so I think I wanted to hear your opinion about one aspect that you mentioned in passing, and it's the translation and the language, because I know that the Kings of War rules have been translated in part, like it's a whole sad story, right? Like some of it was translated and released later on, then the fluff was translated, I think, by the community, but then not published. Like there's a lot of missed opportunities. Also, the companion doesn't exist in French at the moment. Right?
No, this is the problem. That's a big mess. That's a bit paradoxal to say that, but this is why I'm optimistic. For now, the game is really organized in France. Like when there is a new player, I can in 5 minutes say to him, "Oh yeah, you can contact this guy. He's incredible, like a great man, and you have nice games." That's easy, really organized. But we don't have this translation. If we have it, the game will explode. Like easy
in a good way.
We have events. We have like a really active community. We have like a staff podcast, videos, everything, but we don't have translation. We have the structure.
It's true that I see the French Discord and it's very, very active. I love checking it out, and there's tons of discussions about all of the aspects like the rules and the hobby and events and all of these things. And it's very funny for me because obviously you guys or at least a lot of the French community uses French words for rule elements. So you don't say Ancient, it's Mélopée du Fléau or whatever it is.
Everything is translated,
yeah. And so every time I play with a French person, and obviously I speak French, right? It would be weird to speak English like we do today. It's kind of for you listeners, but otherwise we would speak French. And so using, French for Kings of War rules for me is always kind of a challenge. But I think it's very important because it's easy to, how you say it, kind of mock, oh yeah, why can't you just read it in English? It's like, well, it's not my native language, so maybe I can, but if you just limit it to this, then you're cut out from a big portion of the community, like the potential customers and community who maybe don't feel confident enough to read it in English, or, they want to have a good time with their hobbies, and maybe they don't master English well enough to make it an enjoyable thing to read rules and stories in English. And so, it is really, really missing out on a lot of things, I think.
That's really, that's not about pride, but just like for many people, that's hard to speak English. So for them, they make a big effort, or that's a bit maybe a shame when they don't understand. So if the game is in English, that's hard for them. And also, as I said just before, because there is no like a local game, the players are really pragmatic. Like they look at all of the games and they're like, okay, so this game is pretty cool. This game is pretty cool. Yeah, but the first one is in French. So why I will, with my friends, like make efforts and try to understand a game that is not in my native language? This is all the problem.
Yeah, no,
that's really a pragmatic problem. Yeah, because when we had translation, because we had it at few times, that's easier for us to say, okay, you see, these two games are in French, but yeah, Kings of War is way better. Because
it is just a better game. Like, try this out, like read this and come play a demo game, and you will see on your own that it's
and that's really for me, for example, that's not hard to me to play a game in English. I have no problem with it, but I understand the thing, and it's really, for example, you are in the French Discord, you want to talk about the game, about what it is happening in France, tournaments, event painting, of course, and you will have someone who will say, "Oh yeah, but that's too hard for me. There is only English." And after you have like 10 grumpy French guys that come and says, they are a bit. That's a disappointment, and that's normal.
It's similar here, and I see for myself, like my German is worse than my English, sadly. And anytime that I, have the opportunity to play a game with people who really feel more comfortable using German, I can do it. I will do it every now and then, but it is really taxing. My brain is very tired at the end of the game, and not from the game, but just from the language interaction.
Of course.
And that makes it less enjoyable. Like, it's just plain and simple. It's good to learn the language, but there are other opportunities for me to learn the language than when I'm trying to have fun and play games, or even, have fun and play a very competitive game. And then I cannot communicate with my opponent properly, or I cannot really decipher the rules exactly because I don't master the language. That just doesn't work.
But in another way, like French players are really like curious of what's happening in UK or in Germany. They want to know, they want to move, and I'm happy that I see people are moving from Spain, France, like every country more and more in the Clash, and I hope that we will have like more players that will come in France, because there is this cliche like French people love to play French in the game, but they can speak English. They can, of course, and
we can, but we usually won't, right? Like we're too proud to speak English, but that's not true.
If you have someone that is not French in front of you, you will speak English, of course, even in France. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, there's a bit of a generational question also, like generation of my parents, maybe, or some of them know very little about English, and so they will just not even try. But younger generations, I think, were usually a bit more capable of at least interacting in English, and so it also works. Nice. And so, practical question: are Mantic miniatures and rules and so on shelves in brick and mortar stores in France? Like, what's your experience with this?
About shops?
Yeah, like actual shops. Like if I go to a gaming shop in Lyon or Rennes or Strasburg, what are my chances of finding any Mantic miniatures?
That's a good question, because there are many people, of course, that have Mantic minis in France, because we play Kings of War. So you have like much more people that play non-Kings of War minis in France than in UK, of course. But you have many players that play with Kings of War minis. Like every player, most of the time, they begin with a non-Kings of War minis army, and like 1 year after, they make it one. Like most of the time, this is the way. So you have many, but they most of the time don't buy these minis in a shop, because as I say, the shops are not really confident with Mantic and the distributors. So we bought it in the Mantic website in UK, or if we have it, a distributor in France. But I think in internet for many people.
Okay, and so are there, some French stockists or like online stores? I think in Paris there was, what's it called, Star Player, when I used to live in the area. I think they had some Mantic stuff, but like a couple of books and a couple of boxes, in a corner somewhere. Very, very small. But they could also order stuff for you if you wanted. So if tomorrow you want to buy, like a Champions starter box in France, where do you go? You go online on the Mantic website or on a different website?
It really depends on the cities. Like, for example, me, I live in Toulouse because I'm from Ardèche, but for now I live in another city in south next to. And in this city, you have a shop where you can buy some Kings of War stuff, but you have to order it. He won't have
He doesn't have stock.
A stock, yeah.
Okay.
And in other cities, it deepens, but everything is to rebuild, I have to say, in the shops. And this is, this is a bit the challenge. Like, you have a community, like, this is really stable. In few cities, the shop is really like supporting the game, and in others, not at all. That's really city by city.
Yeah, I guess it's also experience of a shop owner to the next shop owner.
Yeah.
Yes. And what do you think of champions in general as trying to get people into the game and entry points?
I think that's incredible. That's an incredible opportunity, even more in France or Spain or Germany. Like, I think that's great for UK, but for us, I think even more, because this is the way to present the game, to show it, that
just
that
have
is
one box,
easy.
you buy it, and that's it.
For example, I was in the big annual convention in Toulouse. Like, in every city, you have this board game, like a big
Right, yeah, the big
convention.
weekend with everything, role-playing game.
Exactly, and I was
game,
talking
and
with
stuff.
the guy who organizes to put like two table of champions next year, and I'm really confident because I made it when I was in Lyon. That was really interesting, and with champions, I think that we can, get 3-4 players on a weekend. People are really optimistic and enjoyed what is coming from Mantic with champions, like good minis. It's improving. That's easy. You don't have to build a list, and that's Kings of War. That's not another game. That's a great idea, I have to say.
But so, do we agree that Mantic needs to publish the Champions rulebook in French then? Because at the moment, I don't think there are translated versions.
I think they don't.
Am I right?
I hope they will, but I will prepare myself like they want, and we will make the profile in French, and
Yes.
And we will manage to present it in French. But yeah, if it was in French, it will
It's
be
the
so
perfect tool
easy,
for it, right?
so easy. Yeah.
And so, yeah, so my take from all of this is you think the community is really ripe for explosion, and it just needs, a few things here and there, translated rules like French companion and this type of stuff, and then you're overall quite optimistic. Did I get this right?
For me, this is more about the companion, because I don't know if it is the case in Spain and Germany, but we have like for 10 years our own army builder in French, like
Yes, Eileen.
ALN, that is a cooperation between players. There is no firm behind it, only players that created it, and without this tool, there is no game in France. Like, I'm sure about it. This
No,
tool,
I totally agree. Like having a really good army builder that gives you a nice condensed view of your list and enables you to play games, well, literally enables you to play games and have fun during it. And people like Mantic should almost pay you to use the companion because ultimately it serves them, right? So anyway, I'm
and
very much convinced of this as well. Yeah.
and for now, people begin to not complain about ILN, but the thing is that because it is a cooperation, you have many mistakes all of the time in it, so we have to fix it, and that's a problem because you play your game, but you begin a game, and the rules are not exactly the good one because that's an old version. So we really, need to have an army builder that is normal, I have to say, like the companion in French, because
Yeah, like reliable and supported. Yeah.
ILN helped to,
Yes, keep it alive.
but just keep it alive. Yeah.
So, Rheni, please invest in a French translation. And it really has to not be a one-off translation, right? Like they really need a working relationship with a translator somewhere that can keep the companion and all these resources. Like as they come out in English, very quickly afterward, they need to also be deployed and translated into French. And I think the community also is willing to help.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I want to say. Like, we, if this is the only way, we don't care about take hours to traduce the companion, to help to find solution. We just need like a contact with Mantic, a community contact, because for now, the only contacts were only with French companies, and oh my god. That was so hard, and not
Yes.
because of Mantic, I have to say. Or it was with people that are like Pathfinder, and I have to say that I never saw a French Pathfinder on a tournament. So I'm not charging them, but
Why don't you apply to be like a French head of Pathfinders or head of French-speaking Pathfinders and contact person for Mantic? Would you be open to?
oh yeah, of course. But not only me, like many people are really open, but yeah, me, of course, also.
No, but what I'm saying is, you know the community pretty well. Your English is decent. Like me, you're not fluent. Like you're not a native speaker, but you
No.
can understand what's going on, and you know the French community quite well. So if Ronnie comes to you and say, "Hey, I have some hours here and there. Please structure things and let me know how we can do things," that's something you would do, or you would find someone to do. I'm putting you on the spot. It was not planned.
Ah, yeah.
It's a surprise. What do you think?
That's a bit surprising, but yeah, of course, as I say to you, I'm really like always really in love with this game and ready to participate to everything because I like it so much. Like in France, in UK, in Poland, like
Yeah.
No,
I
motivate, of course.
I know.
Every time.
I've seen it firsthand, and it's very clear to me that you know how the game works, you love it, and you know the community. You have good contacts. So yeah, it's to me that's from afar because I don't live in France anymore. But that's kind of my impression that there are all of the ingredients for Kings of War to be very successful in France, but it kind of needs a spark somehow, right? Like
yeah, I will
I'm
say
not sure
more.
what the spark would be, but yeah.
That I think that more than a spark, French community need like 1 year of something normal because they were only like sparks, like sparks that only
Yeah, the bad type of sparks. Yeah, no, I've seen this.
1 month you're like okay everything is going good. You're like okay that's nice, and the spark only.
And then it doesn't go anywhere.
This is more about stability and conversation between Mantic and French players, and in this way, I'm really optimistic. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean that's what we mentioned, like the stories. Like there's a complicated past. Like some promises made, like not just by Mantic but other people involved, and then things just not delivered or delayed or underwhelming. It's a bit confusing, but
you were talking about about you in Germany that looking in France and who are a bit jealous about tournaments and events, but I think that for French people this is the same with UK. We are like, wow, the game is so cool. They are playing with so many people, so many events. And the game is growing in UK, like in Clash of Kings. Every year there are more people, and we are like, wow. When we talked about the game in UK, we have like a not pride, but we are like happy to talk about it, like to say, yeah, I play a game and it is growing. And after the guy that play, I don't know, whole world say and how it is in France, and you're like, yeah, we make efforts.
Yeah. It's going,
Yeah, it's going.
Yes,
but
yes.
we are happy to see that in UK and in US and in other countries, the game is growing normally and the rules are nice and the spirit of Kings of War is still like alive. And for us, this is why we continue, because we love this game and we know that in 3 or 4 years, it will be still there. Like,
yes.
I think.
Oh,
so.
Absolutely.
This is Fred reminding you to visit the Kings of War forum, KoWforum.com. No ads, no commercials. That's KoWforum.com.
I mean, I think you're right in the sense that when you see the community in the US and in the UK, on one hand you're like happy for it, but also a bit jealous. And I think the language, again, without being too obsessive, is a good aspect of it, because in the UK, you said there's a bit, we know the people who make the game and so on. That's maybe one dimension of it, but it's also immediately the rules and everything is in your language, and it immediately makes it easier to recruit new players, because to play Kings of War in France today, you have to really be a fanatic. Like you really need to have someone that takes you by the hand to show you how good of a game it is, and help you go through the first difficulty of.
You don't have to be a fanatic, but you have to find the fanatic.
Exactly. No, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you have to overcome the first obstacles.
Yeah.
Like the language and the distribution. Like if you don't see the miniatures in the shop, then it's a lot harder to just convince people to maybe give it a try or buy Mantic miniatures. So yeah, but I think from what I see of the community on Discord and chatting with you also throughout the years, I think there is a lot of potential, and I keep my fingers crossed that finally Mantic cracks the code to get a thriving community in France. So yeah, fingers crossed.
And we tried to manage to in our possibilities to make the game growing in France. And about the masters, we will talk about it after.
Yeah, we can switch to French masters right now, actually, because you've been organizing or being part of the community that organizes the French masters. Can you tell us more about it, where it comes from? And
that's a good transition, because at first French masters was of course a way to do like in US or UK to create challenge, to enjoy more the game. But I remember that we were thinking about create more visibility and possibilities to player to motivate to begin Kings of War. So that's a competitive.
Like it's a display, like it's a flagship. It's also a flagship event.
That's a competitive flag, but the idea was to put casual people in the game, like to inspire them to make a new list, to make them confident because there is a community, to show them that they have people that play the game like just next to them, and also to show them that even if you begin the game, even if you are playing like normally, you can make you can have a spot in the final. I will explain more about it after.
Nice.
But that was really in the middle of the project. Yeah.
And I think also it's a way to give people an excuse to travel to more events, because you need points to qualify. Yeah. And so it's just one more carrot for someone. Hey, do I take a weekend to go to a city 3 hours away to play games? Well, yes, I will, because I need to get more points to qualify for the Masters and so on. And also, I guess the organizers of all of those local events, having the Masters organization is a great place to network and share maybe, tips and tricks, or, support each other, because organizing events is not a trivial thing, right? It takes energy and
time.
Resources sometimes also, but time to get it right. And so I think having good contact with other people that do it as well is very healthy for the game and for the community, right? Like, what's your experience with this?
It was a kind of evidence, like 3 years, I think, after COVID. As I say to you, we lost like the people who were not really in the game. They were playing like 3-4 games. So in 2023, 2022, there were only the really motivate, like the fanatics in the games, and the French Masters was a way to institute the big tournament to get sure that they will continue every year, and to motivate the people from a tournament to go to another. And also, and it works in this way, to see where they were not tournaments. For example, in Strasbourg, there were not. And we were like, okay, if someone from Strasbourg come in the game, we will say to him, oh, that's nice because there is not many people in this region. Maybe you can make an event because the game needs it in France. Motivate him, and after many people will come, and it works because we created new events that now are like really stable.
Yeah, they're established, and they happen every year and so on.
Yeah, in the
map.
map.
I think it's really a good it's a fundamental work and healthy thing for the game to have active events and active communities and visibility for players. Because as you said, right, like a new potential player will look at, okay, can I even find the rules in French? And then if I get started with this, what do I do? Like, can I even play it? Like, are there even people playing it? And if you can show, yes, every weekend almost there will be an event someplace in France, and you can already put in your agenda, in 6 months you go to the big event in this location. It gives signs that the game is very much alive and kicking, and the community is a nice thing to be a part of. So yeah, I think that's really a good side of the French Masters. But so you mentioned 22, 23. So now you guys have done 2 editions of Masters already,
Yeah,
or
exactly 2 editions. Yeah.
So can you tell us more about how it went? Like, how many people did you have? What location you had? Like, what's your experience with, getting a French Masters started, and what do you have in mind for the future? Like, how does it work and everything?
So yeah, at first we wanted to create this kind of tournament to centralize a bit all the tournaments to make to create a final. So we found all the events that were already existing in the country, and we get inspired by the rankings in UK, in US. So you have 2 ways to make points in our tournaments. I don't know how it is in UK because we thought about it together. So maybe some of us look at what is going in UK. Maybe no, but this is not like a copy, and we just
you created your own thing. Like you took inspiration for what exists, but it's not copy paste of the UK or US Masters. You did the French Ratatouille owned version, right? Like given what the community looks like,
but there are some particularities. So, for example, if you are 20 on a tournament, now you can just ask to the organization, you can be 6, 20, 40, as you want, but you can just ask to the committee, can I be a Masters tournament? And most of the time that's okay, like just you need to have like standard rules, like 2,300 points, no created heroes, no campaign. You see, like normal tournament, it can be a bit different.
Like play a normal, yeah. More on the competitive side, like not create your own rules and play siege games.
Yeah, exactly. No siege games. That's a good example. So all of this, and to understand about points, for example, if you are 20, the first 50% will have points. So the 10th will get 1 point, the 9th 2 points, 8 3 points, 7 4 points, etc., etc., and you have a bonus on the podium. So this is the way to get points. And at the end of the year, you have like something around 15 people, the 15 best in the ranking, that are in the final. And after you have another way to be qualified. So I don't know if this is in UK, I'm not sure. We called about like a regional qualifier. And after the 15, we take the first that rest in every region. I don't know if you get the idea.
Yeah,
For
so
example,
the idea is the 15 can be from anywhere in France.
exactly like national ranking.
You make sure that at least there's one person from every single region.
Exactly, because the situation is that we have like big communities in some region and tiny one in another. If I compare, for example, the region of Toulouse, that is in south, to Bretagne, Brittany, uh, the community in Toulouse is quite big, so that's easy for us to qualify. And from someone from Bretagne, there is not that much tournaments. That's hard to move. That's quite hard. But they, there, there, there is always a spot for someone from Bretagne. This is a way to motivate a bit the players that don't play usually or that come from a region where there is no tournaments.
Not so many events, or
Yeah,
it's harder
exactly,
to
and it
just qualify.
motivates to create your own tournament because if you are in Bretagne, I take this example. There is no no hate about Bretagne guys. I'm a bit Breton, me too.
Nobody's perfect.
But yeah, if there is no tournament, you just have to create one. You are like 6, 8 people. I don't know, and at the end you get points, of course, and you know that in your area there will be someone that can go in final. So we try to find the balance in between regional qualifier and national rankings, and yeah, I think that's interesting. That's a good balance in the both first edition. That was really cool.
And so how many players are there total? Because you said 15 from the national ranking. I guess the winner from the previous year usually gets a free qualification for the next year. Or usually that's why it goes for Masters. I don't know if you guys do it.
Yeah, we do it.
And then one per region, but how many region?
We changed a bit the region this year, so I think that's 14 on the national qualifiers, the champion, of course. And after you have 9 people that come from this regional qualifier.
All
So
right.
24 people. Yeah, we choose this number because 24, that's usually the size of a tournament.
Yeah.
Not that it begins to be big, but that's not like 30 or 40 people. And
Yeah,
that's
it's not that crazy to organize, like from a practical level, find a room,
yeah,
find
and
enough
also the
terrain.
Swiss system work like really well on 24
Yes.
people. So
Yes.
we managed to be on this number.
Okay.
And yeah, it works really well because you can have like 1 or 2 people that just begin the game but try to challenging themselves. But to have the most points in your region, you have to play a bit already. Like this is
Yes.
you have to finish, of course, in the first part of the ranking of a tournament. So this is the
Yes.
first step, and after to finish in the first part of your region. So there is no like 9 people that never play the game in the final. That's impossible. There is no people that play like 1 or 2 games, not at all. But sometimes you have like a player that that is surprising to be here, but really happy, and he's like, okay, nice. I was trying to challenging myself, and finally, yeah, that's nice.
And finally, I get the challenge by going and play with other people. No, that's really cool. And so you mentioned like the committee, like the organization that does it. Like, how did that come about? Is it just people hanging out on the French Discord, or people meeting at tournaments? Like, what is it like? How does that work?
Yeah, at first it was only the people that were motivated to participate. Of course,
Yeah,
we are
that's
no.
a good starting point. Yeah.
Yeah, that this is maybe the best idea to allow everyone to participate. And we tried with the time to be representative about all the communities.
Right.
So we are 8,
Yes.
I think. And we are talking currently about how it will be for the next year, because maybe the next step will be to open as maximum as possible to people to vote about
What to do?
yeah, like a little assembly,
Yes. Yes.
to not seem like a sect.
No, that's great.
To show how it works, to push people to participate.
I think engaging with the community, like having an openly welcoming, sign up procedure, like, hey, you play Kings of War in France and you want to be part of the French Masters organization and decide how we do it and how we do events and so on and so forth. Just sign up here and you're part of the group. I think it's a very positive and welcoming and open initiative. But do you guys organize the event always in the same location, or does it change from one region to another? How does that work?
In Masters or in
for Masters? Yeah, no, for Masters.
The first year there were like the tournaments, the qualifiers. That's most of the time like in the same area, because that like in UK or in other places, like the association tournament, annual one. So it's
the usual thing. Like a guy locally organizes an event, and it's a qualifier, or like it's yearly they do an event, or every semester they do a local event, and
exactly
then it's a
on one day or 2 days we have different rules. For example, in one day you don't have like bonus for podiums because that's way too easy. But you can create your own tournament in one day and make points. There is no problem. And the players know that on the big tournaments that are there for the first edition, there will be many players, so they try to come in these tournaments. This is a kind of GT. We don't call them like this, but it seems, because people come in these GTs, to make some points, because there are many people. And for the first 2 years, we make the final in the same area that is 1 hour and a half under Paris, in Bourges, more or less.
Yeah,
because Bourges is famous in France to be in the center of the country. So if you come from Nice, Toulouse,
easy to travel
Brest,
to,
Strasburg, or Lille, you are almost at the same time of the tournament. And there is a story about the place, because this is also a place with an association that make a qualifier there. This is like a big firm, like in the countryside, with a beautiful building, really warmy, really French.
So really nice spot.
Yeah, because the guy that had the place makes the food with local products. We posted like in Fanatics last year's pictures, and I don't remember who it was, maybe Steve, who was telling, "Oh, I see myself in this place taking my glass of wine."
Yes.
Yeah, maybe more beer, because that's a war game tournament, but there is something in this spirit, maybe.
Yeah, you can. Yes, there's a bit of the nice side around it.
Like a quality time. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. It's a very important aspect of the game, right? It's having a good time and a good mental challenge, but also a good time overall. And I think you told me that there is no, or at least not yet, a best of the rest event in parallel to the Masters, right?
Because of this reason. Because the place is incredible, but that's hard to go more than 28. If we are more, that's not possible in this place. So we talked about this last year, maybe to find another place like more classical in the city, to maybe organize a best of the rest. There is a debate, like some people find the idea incredible, some others are not really fan of this. But I think that there is a majority of the committee who are really loving the idea, because I think that we just want to make a big feast, like a big Kings of War party in France, and that's hard to organize, so it makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, as someone who would not qualify for French Masters, I like the idea of having a best of the rest, and I understand that
Yeah.
it's a lot more work for you guys to make it happen. But if you manage to pull that off, then suddenly it opens it up for, you can probably make it one of the biggest events for Kings of War in the French speaking area, and that has some value in it. Make it a yearly big event,
Yeah,
kind of like what Clash of Kings is in a
you're
way.
right. You're right.
Yeah. And then that's something that people can look forward to.
But
and,
that's hard
okay.
to. That's quite hard to organize, like a kind of French GT, because
Yes.
we have the Masters, so it takes like a tournament where everyone wants to come. So that's the first date. And after, we have a particularity in France that is called Interrégion. That is also an annual tournament where people try to come every year. So for 2 years, that's quite hard. But for like 10, 15 years, it was the biggest tournament in France, and everyone was passing the tournament, traveling. Yeah,
right.
That's a team tournament. So that's hard to organize GT because that's hard to organize GT because you have already this 2 time. So yeah,
Yes.
we will try, I think, to create maybe a best of the rest to make a GT and Masters, but that's hard to create a third big date.
I mean, it is even more work, and like making these events is time consuming, and it's also an investment in resources to make it happen. Like the bigger you make it, the more money is involved potentially to rent the space.
Yeah.
And you need to have all of the terrain and all of the volunteers to support the organization. So I think you probably want to, grow it slowly but steadily. And it's better to keep it stable rather than try to grow too fast and, crash or have a big issue like a life-threatening, well, not individual life-threatening, but like for the event or the organization. If you lose a lot of money on one event that has some issue, then it's a risk for future years, and that's probably not what we want. But yeah.
Both first edition were incredible. The good spirits, and the level in the second edition was really, really tough. I have to say.
And so, what's the season? Is it the same season as the UK and US Masters, roughly?
I don't know exactly because I follow the UK and US on the final, but I don't follow really the qualifier. So when this is the final, I look at the list in UK, the players,
right?
Maybe sometimes some streams or games, of course. But I forgot a bit in the year when it is, I have to say.
But what is it for France then?
But for France, the logic for now is to make a season around the Clash of Kings. So you have the new Clash of Kings. So we begin a season. So it begins in December and it finishes at the end of November. Like we make the final most of the time 10 days before the new Clash of Kings.
Okay, yeah, I think that's
to be the most logical about the meta.
I think the UK is there's a slightly offset in time, but it's something similar. I mean, it makes sense.
I
right?
think we are the last in the year, but maybe UK and Australia. No, Australia maybe not, but the UK is just before. I think, like 3 weeks, 1 month, something like this.
It's pretty close. Yeah, nice. No, that's good. And so, are you on your way to qualifying for Masters this year? Like, do you think you'll go, or what's?
Yeah, I think that's already. Yeah, that's already enough for me. I have my points already, so
nice.
No, it's more chill.
Good. So, how close to being French Masters were you last year, or were you French Masters? I don't even know who.
I'm like the eternal second. I was second in first year. I was third in last year. So I hope that this year it will be mine.
I mean, you've tried 2 out of 3 positions on the podium.
Yeah, I'm the only
one that you need to do next is pretty clear.
We will see.
Crossed.
But yeah, I will try. It was close last year, yeah. First year,
Nice.
there were someone really better than me, the others. Last year it was more close, but yeah, also the first was really clear. Yeah,
Nice.
maybe. No,
I
that was
mean, second and third means you came pretty close.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yes.
of course.
Nice. Should we slowly move to, wrapping up and maybe, if you have some key messages that you want to throw out there to the, international Kings of War community, or at least people who make it through an hour plus of a podcast about Kings of War, or maybe to Mantic as well. What are your messages? Like, I think we've talked about the companion, right? Like, please make it in French. Please make it in German.
At least
please make it in Spanish.
Create a contact between us who are like patients. This is not the problem, but we just maybe need and want to talk, to communicate, to help, to know what is happening. Just talk and find solution, because I think that they are. And
Nice.
about the companion, this is maybe the only thing, because of course we need a translation, but the first thing, the most important, is about the companion. And already with this, it will be easier and stable and not that hard to
like it's a building block for you in the field, then to bring in new players.
Definitely.
And keep building the community. So what you need first and foremost for Mantic is
every
this.
month I see it. The most important thing for French player is when in tournaments you take the French book that is not accurate now, and someone
it's not the latest up to date.
And someone arrive and say no, but the companion is always right. And the other player is like, but it is in English. And he's like,
that's a problem.
That's not normal, because I look at the rules in French and you say to me that is not the rules. There is something tricky there.
No, that's a bit icky. If someone buys the latest rules in French and it's quite different from the latest rules in English, it doesn't look good.
For us, that's most important, to have the companion in French and to help to keep it, keep it, not spark, than to have the rule book in paper. No, what we just want is to can have access to the rule easily, and like this, we will find so many players. And in other way than Mantic, I hope I will play against many international players this year. It will, because I go in Poland and clash this year. And
nice.
I hope that maybe some of them will come in France, in Ardèche. I saw that there is some Italian in Poland who are not so far from Italy. Just before COVID, I was looking to go in Torino. So maybe
it's not so far.
It will be an occasion as well to talk about it with the Italians.
Nice. No, that's pretty cool. All right. Anything else you wanted to talk about or mention before we wrap up the show?
No, just thanks to everyone. The community is always great. That's always a pleasure to make any games. And thanks to Mantic about this game, like that still motivate me like every day.
Yes, we love it, and we're thankful to Mantic and to the people who keep the game alive and help it develop further. We're happy to be a part of it. Great. Well, thanks for taking the time to come chat with me today. And first time, but not the last time, I hope.
Yeah, I hope. Of course. That was really nice.
Absolutely. All right, then. Till next time, so many universes, so little time.